Well, let's move on to Ange, because we've got this big game on Thursday night, and a lot of people saying if we lose this, Ange has got to go. But on the flip side of that, is there any way that Ange can save his job at Tottenham Hotspur? Is there any way that you can envisage him being here at the start of next season? I'm going to start with you on this one, Sim. If he wins Europa League and doesn't basically lose every game, well, I think that at the moment the league was so checked out of the league. I can't see us not having a really poor end to the season. I think all eggs are definitely in that Europa League basket. But what I would say is that obviously a lot of people are theorising on, we're going to lose this X amount of games. It's going to be our worst season in however many years. But if we do win that Europa League, you also have to say it'll be the first time we've won a European trophy in however many years as well. So it goes both ways, I would say, if we do win that trophy. I think all eggs are definitely in that basket, 100%. I think the problem with Ange, I would say, is the big problem he has, even if he does win Europa League, it's not even so much the league form, which is obviously horrendous, and I understand that, but it's more the snapping back at fans, how he's coming across in the media, all these different elements, the ear cupping of the fans, the way he snaps when he's walking past fans. That, to me, I think the club will look at those things and think, is that just a ticking time bomb waiting to happen for something that he will do? I know so far he's done things which are not great look, but it's kind of like they're not kind of sackable offences, apart from maybe the ear cup, which I would have sacked him over that. But if Conte and Mourinho did the ear cup, they would have been out the door the next day. Yeah, potentially. And I said I would have sacked him. My point being is Ange has made it very clear he's going to keep reacting to things. He said it very clearly. He couldn't have made it any clearer in his press conference. When he sees a phone, he's going to react to it. So, do the club look at that and from a PR standpoint and say, is that just a real bad something really bad waiting to happen there, like where he'll eventually do something or say something which will put the club in a even worse light than it already is. So I think from that point of view, even if he does even win the Europa League, there is definitely, even in putting together the league form on top of that, there's definitely a case to be made that even if he does win, he shouldn't remain at Tottenham for next season. Also, there's just been so much animosity directed towards him this season during this bad run of form. It's going to be hard to win that back. But obviously, if we do win that Europa League and come May, we're lifting a trophy, we're lifting that, we're in Bilbao, lifting a cup, and you see the players on that podium showing their armpits, as the expression would say, lifting that trophy. It'll be hard to find a negative Spurs fan at that point, I would say. And I think the positivity could be enough at that point, and the good feeling from lifting a trophy could be enough, especially if we're playing well at that point as well. Like we had a really good game in the final, and let's say we play really well on Thursday, and we blow away whoever we play on the semi, and we have a really good final win. Then all of a sudden, we've got a European trophy, we're back in the Champions League, and the feeling would completely change. I completely agree with that. But that is the only way I see him keeping his job at the moment. And even then, it's not 100% in the final. Then he'll be gone, because I think, would you want him to be gone, though? Would that be... Yeah, I think if we lose on penalties in the final... Look, it depends on let's say we win our last 5 league games playing really well. We ain't winning our last 5 league games. Just say we're finishing 17th. That's it. We're finishing.
He says we're going to go and beat Liverpool at Anfield.
I'm talking you give me a hypothetical. I'm talking hypotheticals. The hypothetical is we finish 17th. League is completely dead. We're finishing 17th and losing on penalties in a great display in the final of the Europa League. No, then it's not enough. Then he'll be gone. But on the flip side, let's say the league form takes a real sharp turn. We start playing really well, and we start winning, like we win a lot 5 out of 6 games or something.
It's too unrealistic.
Whatever. I'm giving you a hypothetical of how we can lose a final and he can keep his job. Okay. We play really well in the court. We play really well on Thursday, play really well on Sunday. All of a sudden, this team looks like it's together again. There's cohesion. We're batting teams away. And then come the final, we play really well, but I don't know, we get an unlucky deflection in the last minute. It goes to penalties and we lose. Then all of a sudden, it might be... Maybe there's a bit of momentum going to next season. We just got really unlucky, but I think that's the only other way I would see it. Yeah, I just think that's completely. There's no chance. I can't even see one win from now until the end of the season in the Premier League. But George, I never said we're winning. Yeah, I know you didn't. But George, do you feel like if he does win the Europa League, then he will keep his job? And does he deserve to keep his job if he wins the Europa League?
Nah, no, I feel like the key thing with a manager being at a club, especially when the club's going through a bad time, is building and maintaining a strong relationship with the fan base. He's done and nothing but shatter that. He argues with, like Sim said, he argues with fans. He's cupping the ears to the fans. He's every little moment he gets, he's jabbing at the fans in press conferences recently. He's sort of saying, "Oh, well, I'm the bad guy now," doing sob stories and stuff. And it's at this point, he's just so focused on his own ego and his own pride and saving himself and being right. He wants to win this trophy so he can say, "I told you guys I always win in my second season." That's why he wants to win the trophy. And so when the journalists are asking him these silly questions, which, you know what, fair play to him, he does get asked and he does get targeted by journalists for some horrible questions, which are going to make him probably look worse than he is, or, bring you out of character. Because sometimes you can get caught off of a question and be like, are you really like, I understand the frustration on that side of things sometimes, but his answers still aren't warranted. And so I just sit here and I think, whether he wins it or not, I feel like we need to part ways. Us winning it doesn't necessarily show any sign of succession or growth, or that we can do anything onwards with that. We saw what happened to Manchester United across the last 2 seasons. They've won trophies, but consecutively got worse as a team, because winning trophies doesn't mean you're going to get better. So, yeah, no, I just think he needs to get sacked regardless. And if he doesn't win this week, he should get sacked on the plane home. I mean, Martin Yol got sacked at half-time. There should be no questions as to why he can't get the same treatment, if not worse, because the fans loved Martin Yol. That's the difference.
Yeah. And Martin Yol would never, ever disrespect this fan base, ever. He had ultimate respect for this football club and the fans. But Kate, are you of a similar line of thinking? And do you feel like even if he doesn't get sacked for winning the Europa League at the end of the season, he should walk, right? He should just resign at the end of the season.
No, I can't bear the thought of this guy being at my club much longer. It's literally, I've got to a stage now where I do not have any interest in watching us. If on Thursday we lose, I don't even know if I'm going to watch another league game this year. I've absolutely lost a connection with my club this year because of this guy. I think he's an arrogant, self-obsessed guy who has reached his level. He's not a bad manager. I'm not one of these people who buys into that. He's a fraud. He's a clown. Everyone's got a level, right? And his level was the Scottish League. Maybe he could go to, say, a League One club and win it. I don't know. But the Premier League is that step too far. And we could go unbeaten for the rest of the season and fly through Europa League and win. And I still want this guy out of the club. But in my ideal world, we win the Europa League and he walks, because then he holds his dignity. He says, look, I've done what I said I was going to do. The club don't look bad, because if the club do turn around and sack him after we win the Europa League, full well the journalists are going to go to meltdown about how outrageous it is. But you can't just judge this guy on a final or even just one cup competition. You've got to look at what he's done over 2 years, and it's nowhere near good enough. Tottenham Hotspur should not be sitting where we're sitting with that many defeats. It's unheard of. So, I don't like him as our manager, but I don't wish any ill will on him. I just think he's reached his level, and this is just a step too far. So yeah, whatever happens, please God and everything that's sacred, he's not our manager at the start of next season.
Yeah, I feel like it all started to go wrong when we played Man City the back end of last season, when he started questioning the mentality of the fan base and stuff like that. And I'm not sitting here saying, look, he should have come into the press conference and say, yeah, we want to lose, mate. We can't give Arsenal the title, all that kind of stuff. But don't start clapping back at the fans and start questioning the fans' mentality and saying what the fans should be doing and all this kind of stuff, when that's what he said he's not going to be doing the whole way through. And I think it's just been a downward spiral since then. And the way he claps back at fans, the ear cupping, everything that's been talked about already on this panel, as well as the league. I mean, just the points this year. We're not going to hit 40 points, in my opinion, this season. We're so damn lucky that the teams in the relegation zone are not as bad as they are, because we would have had a genuine chance of getting relegated this season. Like, genuinely.
The worst thing of all, Ben? This is the worst thing of all. Rival fans are saying to me, I'm not even going to banter you because I actually feel sorry for you. And that's the most painful thing. I'd rather get loads of stick than have their sympathy. But they actually feel sorry for us because we're that bad.
So to be honest, Kate, I think you're the only one they feel sorry for because you you haven't had much.
I
hope
get
for-
no,
Well, they don't feel sorry for
get
me.
no sympathy.
I definitely don't get no sympathy. Mate. You see me on panels, they don't give me no sympathy.
Oh, maybe it's me then. I'll
All
take
I
it.
get is Ange in. Question for you guys then, seeing as you've stated, even if Ange wins, you want him gone. If Ange winning Europa League meant he stayed, would you rather he won it and stayed, or we lost and he went?
Won it and stayed. I never want my team to lose a trophy. I mean, come on. Because even if he stays, he'd be gone within 6 months of being there. So win it and stay.
Surely nobody could want their team to lose, like regardless of any situation.
No.
That's how much you don't want Ange. Yeah, but look, even if Ange was to win and stay, like Kate said, in the first 2-3 months of next season, he'd be gone anyway. So you may as well win the trophy, something that we're desperate for. Oh, well, if he stays, but he has to see out his contract. He has to, yeah. I'll
Still
say
stay.
win it. I'll still say win it.
We're that desperate for silverware.
Yeah,
Win it no matter what.
And you know what? If he sees out his contract, then that brings us to after the World Cup, and then a certain Mr. Mauricio Pochettino is available. What about if we're in the championship by then? Save our souls, Mauricio Pochettino.
Yo, oh no, I thought you was gonna say Nagelsmann or something, Maurizio.
Mauricio.
George, do not even go there, please.
Poch home is that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we're gonna get into our managers in another topic, but yeah, look, we know that everything rides on Thursday for Ange. I think in terms of his immediate future, do you think even if he loses on Thursday, guys, do you think he sees out the season regardless?
Nah, I can't see it happening. Like I can't. If Levy lets him see out the season after losing in the quarterfinal, it just shows like the highest amount of negligence of running this club. It's just so
really
every
matter,
manager.
George? Does it really?
No,
matter,
it does though, Ben, because when you look at it, all the teams around us have sacked their manager, barring Ipswich. Every team in the bottom half of the table, I think, barring Ipswich, maybe like Brentford and Crystal Palace, who are like 11th and 12th, who are above us, who are considered good seasons for them.
Yeah.
Every team in and around us has sacked their manager and trying someone new. And you've seen Wolves, since they've sacked their manager, improved. Everton, since they've sacked the manager, have improved drastically. West Ham, maybe not. Manchester United, maybe not. But other teams around us have done it successfully throughout the season. I can't see how a team finishes in the 15th, which we probably will, doesn't sack their manager or doesn't or it lets him just continue to the rest of the season. You might as well. I was once saying I don't want to see Ryan Mason near, the head coach job anytime soon. But I'm ready to just, you know what? Ryan Mason's not as bad as Ange. Ryan Mason actually has some tactical nous, and he does adapt his system in games for different teams. I'd rather watch Ryan Mason take us into the last 5 Premier League games than Ange do so.
I don't see him sacking him.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that for the last 5 games, these 5 games mean absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Why sack him now? Because we're not going to get relegated. So you might as well just keep him to the end of the season rather than sort of disrupt everything and sack him. I mean, I don't care either way, but I just personally think they will keep him to the end.
What's the benefit of
And allow him to take the hits, I guess, till the end of the season instead of someone else, and then
Exactly.
let him go.
But I'm just looking at it like, if we sack him now, then we can start to prepare for the end of the season, because Ryan Mason knows he's not going to keep the job. So then we can use the 5 or whatever weeks it is to start interviewing people.
You can do that anyway. You could do that anyway.
Exactly. You could do that.
We can, but they're not going to do it.
Levy knows if he sacks him, the last 5 weeks is just, I mean, it's already protests anyway, but it's just going to ramp up even more if he sacks him.
Exactly.
At least he's got an excuse of, this manager's terrible for the last 5
Because
weeks.
Levy's been really smart with that. I feel like what he's done in this is he's kept him in, sort of shove it in the fans' face that, look, Ange's the bigger problem, not me. That's what he's trying to show the fan base, which we all know, as much as we all want Ange out of the club, he's not the biggest issue. Levy is the biggest issue. And he's the one that put Ange in control in the first place. And now we're seeing that we're probably going to get onto it, might be mentioned later, but now we're seeing that we've gone and got Arsenal's worst sporting director or worst CEO, the guy that led them throughout the worst period of Arsenal's history to lead us. And Scott Munn still hasn't been sacked. Like, there's so much things that are just thrown up in the air. Fabio Paratici, is a part of Spurs, is he not? It's just a mess of a club that Levy
Yeah, but
runs.
George, you say that about Arsenal's CEO, but he also guided them out of that period and brought them into kind of what they are today. I mean, he was integral in bringing Mikel Arteta to the club and overseeing the first couple of years of Mikel's reign.
I don't know, man. I feel like the first couple of years of Mikel's reign hasn't necessarily been successful. Have they improved? Yeah, but Daniel Levy's also done the same thing under Pochettino. The one thing I feel like both of them was very fortunate is that they've had managers who probably over-exceeded their initial expectations. Pochettino, no one expected him to challenge for the league. Arteta, probably no one expected him to challenge for the league as soon as he did. So lucky that the managers have done well. I really don't know too much about Arsenal director Vinay or new Spurs director, so I'm not gonna go out and call him out on things. But from Arsenal fans that I have spoke to, Lee Gunner being one of them, they laughed. They were all like just absolutely laughing at us for the fact that we got him and said that he wasn't a good guy. So we'll have to see how he does at Spurs, innit? But it's just
He's a money
another
man. He's a commercial man. He like tripled and quadrupled Arsenal's revenue since he's been there. So he's a man that speaks Levy's language. That's what he is.
sounds about right.